Hello folks, we're glad that you joined us on this lovely winter morning. Some people don't know much about the history and may not think much of the little town of Halifax, Pennsylvania. But today we are here to tell you some very interesting facts about our town and some of the stories that make it unique. Let's get started.
Before the white men inhabited the areas along the Susquehanna River, such as Halifax, an Indian tribe we know today as the Susquehannocks lived here. They gave the river its name. The word Susquehanna means long crooked river. This beautiful river is known as the Heart River of PA.
By the time William Penn appeared in this area in 1765, the Susquehannock tribe had nearly become extinct, battling with their enemies, the Iroquois. Sometime after 1700, a tribe not native to this area moved in. They were the Shawnee, and they were known for practicing cannibalism.
Eventually, more people began moving into the passing through the area. The area was heavily settled by those of German descendants and is still to this day. One infamous villain of the area was Simon Girty. He gained his reputation as a white man raised by the Indians, who also assisted with the British during the American Revolution. He was a bad dude.
During the time of the French and Indian War, a fort was built here under the watchful eye of Colonel William Chapham along the banks of the river. At first, Chapham called it the Fort at Armstrong's due to its closeness to the Armstrong's trading post. In 1757, the fort was moved from Halifax to Fort Hunter so that the British could protect settlers living south of the mountains. Today we call this area here where the fort once stood, Fort Halifax Park.
The town of Halifax had two founding fathers, George Schaefer and Peter Rice. They were the two men that established Halifax. They ordered the survey of Halifax on July 18, 1794. The original lots were 201 feet in length and 90 feet in breadth. As you can see on the original parchment map, they were sold at $20. George Schaefer is buried in the Hill Cemetery at the top of Market Street.
In the late 1700s to the early 1800s, there was a variety of enterprises in the town, including shad fishing, nail making, cooperages, hat and shoemaking, like the old Willett Shoe Factory right behind me. These businesses were successful for quite some time until modernization struck and they decreased in size. Today there are hardly any businesses in town, and most people travel out of town for work.
In 1854, the Northern and Central Rivers started to lay tracks through the town. In 1858, here where the old train station stood in the town, the Iron Horse was introduced to our area. Much like other businesses, when the train stopped carrying lots of cargo through the town, it hurt the town's progress.
The last and most fascinating story we would like to share with you is about the 1901 bank robbery, which occurred here and what is now a private home. According to records, at 11:15 a.m., two men, one short and the other tall, rushed into the bank with revolvers in their hands. Their names were Henry Rao and Weston Kepper, who were from the Lincoln's area. They were trying to live out the many dime novelty stories they had read about the legendary badman Jesse James.
After much threatening, Charles Ryan, the cashier, began to fight Henry Rao. However, he was shot in the scuffle. Three other bankers rushed on the two criminals to stop their escape. They succeeded in stopping in the alley behind the bank. Sadly, Mr. Ryan died at 4:12 p.m. that same day in his home.
The robbers were instantly taken to a Dauphin County jailhouse in Harrisburg. They were both found guilty of first-degree murder and were hanged for their crimes. That's the way it ended.
These days, there is not very much entertainment in this town except for Lake Tobias or various parks. There are very few restaurants, so the variety is slim. Most people go outside of town regularly for all of their needs. You can learn a lot about our history when the town was more vibrant. Here at the Historical Society Museum on Market Street.
this is a very cool place. I think we all need to come to a museum at least once in our life to see in our past. I think this is really cool.
These are just a few of the facts and the stories that make the history of Halifax fascinating. Our town, like any other in America, is a representation of all the lives lived in it. So always remember that just like the good and the bad people who preceded us, we are writing the next chapter in Halifax history for those who will follow. Help make it an amazing story.